Hello, I'm Harrison Keeley. Here's a quick look at today's top stories. First of all, it's been less than 2 weeks since the field house at Marion County High School was vandalized. Now a police investigation has led to a surprising arrest. Marion County assistant football coach Michael Schmitt has been charged with allegedly vandalizing his own school. The incident happened just before a game against the school's rival, South Pittsburg. Authorities say the damage totaled several $1,000s. Vulgarities were spray painted on the building, including derogatory names toward coaches and players. And South Pittsburgh's logo was painted on the building as well, apparently to frame the other team. Officials say the act was probably an attempt to inspire the football team, but South Pittsburg won anyway, 35-17. The sheriff's department won't say whether other coaches were involved. In the meantime, Schmitt has been suspended from his teaching job with pay until the outcome of the investigation. We're learning more about the man who shot and killed a Catoosa County teenager. The boy was one of 3 who were looking for scrap metal at Fred Youngblood's home. When one of our reporters knocked on his front door Wednesday, Youngblood answered it with a gun in hand and told us to leave. His neighbors say that's normal behavior for him. In 3 years, Jenny Stone and her husband only spoke to Youngblood after their dogs went into his yard and he shot at them. They say he told them it was a warning and that the next time he wouldn't miss. So far, Youngblood hasn't been charged in the death of 17-year-old Dalton McConaughey, but the investigation isn't over. The sheriff's office says he told the boys to stay still, but they ran toward him, so he shot. The sheriff says that Youngblood was physically upset when he found out one of the boys had died. But some question if the boys were trying to escape the house when the shooting happened. Georgia's stand your ground law says a shooter is justified only if he feels it's necessary to prevent death or great bodily harm. Now, on the day of McConaughey's funeral services, authorities are still trying to determine if that's the case. Many of TVA's oldest coal plants may soon be shut down. The move means nuclear will replace coal as TVA's primary power source in the next 3 years. The utility is ready to shut down many of its oldest and least efficient coal plants, especially as environmental rules become more strict and demand for energy goes down. But the shift away from coal is drawing criticism, especially in Kentucky, where more than 6,000 coal mining jobs have been lost over the past 5 years. TVA may replace some of its oldest coal plants with natural gas units. Falling prices have helped make natural gas cheaper than installing mandatory pollution controls. But coal backers warn that natural gas will likely become more expensive for TVA in the long run. Erlanger has announced a plan to outsource all of its housekeeping and food services. That means about 250 Erlanger employees could be moved off the hospital's payroll. Under a proposed $12 million contract with Aramark, both of those services would no longer be managed by the hospital. Erlanger CEO Kevin Spiegel says employees already in those departments will keep their current ranks and salaries. The shift is expected to save the hospital about $3 million. The board will vote on the measure next week. Farrell Hayes has been named as the new interim chief executive at Hutchinson Medical Center. Hayes has served as chief financial officer for the Fort Oglethorpe Hospital since May 2012. He joined Hutchinson in 1976. He'll be replacing Roger Forgy, who plans to retire as CEO at the end of this month. A new study has found that kids who are paddled are 3 times more likely not to graduate from high school. UTC education professor Daryl Meese came to the conclusion after researching data tracking children through adulthood. Meese says that for poor and minority children who already face an uphill battle, paddling only makes things worse. The results have Meese and another UTC professor calling for the end of paddling in public schools. Tennessee is one of 19 states that still allow corporal punishment, and Hamilton County is the largest public school system in the state that has yet to ban it. Finally, Chattanooga will have a dozen more libraries by the end of the year. Little free libraries, that is. 2 groups are working to build micro-libraries in neighborhoods around the city. They look like large birdhouses with glass doors, and each can hold up to 40 books. The best part is anyone can borrow or add books at any time. No library card required. The first exchange was installed last week. You can find a full list and a map on our website at timesfreepress.com. Turning to weather, today will be sunny with a high near 56 degrees. The low tonight will be around 35. That's today's newscast. Thanks for being with us. You can find more on these stories and breaking news all day long at timesfreepress.com.